Alright, we're back. I had some technical difficulties there. Apologize, you guys. But yeah, looking good over here. We're doing the live stream. I haven't done this during the day before, and I'm adding LinkedIn into the stream now for the first time. So this is going to be pretty sweet. And I think I'm going to start doing these lunchtime streams now. I just need to change it up. If you haven't been following me, I've been making live art on the internet now for like 3 years, doing mostly Twitch and YouTube, which we're still over there. And I just been streaming in the evenings, and it's just been getting exhausting. So, sorry, I gotta mute this other stream. There's gonna be a lot of technical difficulties today. I'm using different software, and so don't mind me. Looks like there's a significant delay over on the LinkedIn side as well. So I'm gonna navigate that. Probably gonna end up switching softwares, but you know, I didn't want to plan and then never execute. So here I am. This is a version 1.0 of the LinkedIn lunchtime live, whatever. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna call it, but it's gonna be fun. So I think I can see chats from LinkedIn in my little chat box over here. So if anybody's checking it out on LinkedIn, please drop a little thing, say hello. But yeah, so high level, I do weekly art here on my live stream. It's a posthumous collaboration with my dad. So my dad passed away in 2016, just passed the 10-year anniversary. And I've taken all of his art and made a digital archive of it. And I have, pieces on my ceiling, like all over my life, and it's crazy, and they're everywhere. I have 700 pieces of his art, and I just started, I started first and foremost like making an NFT collection with them, kind of part of my deathbed promise to my old man that I was gonna, make something cool happen with his art. And he was really worried about it on his deathbed. Poor guy. And so I fast forward to like 2022. I found NFTs and the Web3 craze, and I thought, all this stuff's kind of crazy, but there is some value in here, and there's a lot of value in Web3, and I'm happy to get into any of that. But there's a lot of value in permanently immortalizing my dad's work on the blockchain. So I started doing that, and I started promoting the collection. And in promoting that, I was like, oh, well, let's do a live stream. My buddy Chris Mackhoot, I will invite him out to the next thing. But anyways, he convinced me to do a live stream, and then I just loved it. I started doing art again for the first time in my life. And 10 years at that point, right? So I'd started my business. If you guys know me, I own Epic Made. I do a lot of digital art, animation, all sorts of stuff. Really amazing work over there, but I'm not even on the art team anymore. I just run the business. And I'd really gotten out of touch with my own creativity. So this whole thing for me is just kind of a mission to like get back to my creativity and keep consistent with it, and keep being an artist-led creative studio over here. So my goal is to be the most creative person you've ever seen on LinkedIn or wherever you're at, right? Like, I want to be the most creative person on the internet, or at least the most creative version of me. So what that looks like now is just me continuing to do art. So if you go back to colorfulcarl.com and you check that out, you can see, I've got like 100 pieces up there I've done over the past few years where I've taken my dad's old art and made new art. And this piece I'm doing today is sort of like, I do a lot of digital work, and I've been getting into digital so much over the years that I really, really wanted to be able to like lean heavier back into like my roots of actually like fine art, and I love art. So I've been working on this piece for a couple months now, just a little bit at a time. And I love the Green Man and tree ants and like just nature in general. It's really where I get a lot of my creative inspiration. So the piece I've been working on the live stream for the past few weeks. So you can go back onto my YouTube and you can see all my archive stuff there. It's Colorful Carl Art over there. But you can see me working on this every week and as it comes together. So I've only worked on this on the stream, even though there's many times I'm looking at it during the week like, oh, I should just do a little of this or a little of that or a little paint on that, And I've been saving it just for you guys so that you guys can see the process unfold. But while I'm here, I want to open this format more on this LinkedIn Live side of things. And I'd like to, just open the floor to like, hey, what questions do people have for me? Like, I'm deeply steeped in AI. I understand the legal sides and all of it. Like, I'm in the weeds of it. I'm not an attorney. But I am an artist advocate. I am been on the board at the Graphic Artists Guild for a long time, and I'll be able to speak to my stance and my opinion on things. I'm not anti AI. I'm not pro AI. I am a realist. I understand what the world looks like right now. I can do digital art. I can paint. I can sculpt. I can draw. I can do photography. I can, everything you think of. Like, I love creating things, right? Like, I love making things with my hands, but I also see the vast potential of AI and what it is, what it can be, and I'm responsible, for about 11 families that I help feed through my business, Epic Made, that I started in 2006. So I just have a wide-ranging perspective. So deep in the weeds on crypto, deep in the weeds on AI. Love art, love creativity, love advertising, marketing, design, pop culture. So I just want to be here and just chat with people and like make art. So this is going to be my new thing. I think I'm going to move it weekly. I'm still trying to figure out the times, but I don't know how these recordings last or whatever that looks like on LinkedIn, but I'm just excited to explore this. I've moved, we were getting up to like 150 people on a stream on the evening times, but it just wasn't working for my life. Like I was, at one point I was starting streams at like 10 p.m. and going till 1 in the morning, and it's like that was during COVID though, so I guess it was all right. But at this phase in the game, like I think this lunchtime LinkedIn thing is the best vibe for me. So, if I'm multicasting on a bunch of different platforms. A good amount of them will come up in the stream chat that you see right here, but like LinkedIn and all that won't. So I'm probably gonna have to switch formats and change up the design here soon. This is if I didn't do it today and just go for it, I wasn't gonna do it. So here we are. Anyways, let's do some art. All right, so this is the piece I've been working on for quite a few weeks. It started off with just like a line art sketch. I absolutely love the green man. I know I was mentioning that earlier. So, but you'll see here. Let me pull up some work in progress shots. Right now, I'm tentatively calling this the wise old tree, but it started off looking like this is a pencil sketch, and in true homage to the old man, I've been really going for layering it up in watercolor. So what I've done here is I sketched it out in pencil. Let's see if I can zoom in some so you get a better view. Yeah, sketched out in pencil, and then I've just been coloring. So you see I got like a little woodpecker going on the head here, right? Like hollowed out in the head, which is crazy. Right after I drew this, like the next day I went the next week I went on a walk. I used to do these Wednesday walks in the woods to kind of help clear my head and keep me sane or whatever that means. But I saw this red-cockaded woodpecker. Like I took a video of him. I showed it on the stream the other day. So got some good reference material from that. But yeah, I've just been drawing this from my mind, and it's been a lot of fun. So I got a little ladybug over here, and a little beetle-looking creature up here. And yeah, so I'm just gonna keep playing with this, and as y'all jump in, like if people are interested, ask questions or whatever. It doesn't look like anyone's talking in the chat yet. I'm not really sure. I have the LinkedIn chat up over here. Let me see. I could probably add another window, but we'll wait till someone actually comments. Tish, can anyone see this? We got a couple viewers on the LinkedIn side, I think, so that looks good. And then, yeah. Anyways, just going to keep doodling, and hopefully I'll look up periodically and check on you guys and make sure no one's got any questions. But, yeah. And I'll actually promote this next time. I didn't promote it at all, so... All right, so I want to punch the dimension out here a little bit. So I'm going to get a little bit of a darker green. And I can show my little watercolor artista. I don't even know where this came from. I think it was my dad's. I have sorry, I just dropped something. Probably never going to find it. Oh, here it is. It's like I have a piece of lead from one of my watercolor pencils. So I have watercolors that I use, and I use my little watercolor pen, right? Which is cool. It's really convenient. Sort of just soaks up the watercolors. That's a blue green. What color is that one? was a green and a blue-green. Okay, interesting. And then you can just kind of dab it in there, and you just paint a little in there, you know, which is fun. And it's just like, watercolor is an interesting medium. Like, I love it because there's so many, you can just really layer a lot. And then at the end, you can always go back with a little acrylic and, you know, pop things out with some whites or some really dark things. So it's always pretty, you know, has a good bit of transparency to it. So it really like lends itself to blending really nice. Yeah, but I'm just experimenting. Watercolor is my dad's favorite medium. And it always just makes me feel a little closer to him when I'm experimenting with these things. It was funny, I had a dream about him last night. It's been a little while. It was very weird and somber, and I miss him. Woke up a little like sad. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it was crazy. So like I was riding on a moped with my brother and my mom and my dad, like crazy moped in my dream. And like I guess we're at the spot, and my dad decided he was gonna get off, and like he's like, yeah, I'll stay behind, I'll ride with your brother. I have two brothers, and like I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, you know, we'll catch up with you later, you know. And it was like, but it's always like a sad overtone, which is weird when I see him in my dreams. It's like they're very like sometimes I know I'm dreaming, you know, and it's like I'm just hanging out with my dad, which is wild. But like this one was like it seemed very like we were just in a different time, a different timeline, you know. Anyway, so like we get a little bit down the road on the moped, which is crazy. And then I was like, oh, I forgot his shoes. And then, or he forgot his shoes. So I was like, oh, I pulled over to the side of the road, and I'm like running against traffic with my dad's shoes to like bring him his shoes, which was weird. It was like a really weird memory, because as I'm thinking about it, like my dad passed away. Like he had all these crazy, amazing pieces of artwork, and I kept them all. But like he had his shoes, and he had like, I wore like a size 9. Like I wear a 12, so I was like, I wasn't trying not to hoard all of his shit after he died, which is easy to do when, you know, you're desperately trying to hold on to somebody. But he has these old Birkenstocks, and they were just covered in paint splatters, and they were almost like a piece of art themselves, you know. And I just like keep kicking myself for throwing them out, because it would have just been cool to just have them like sitting around somewhere. But you know, it's also like I can't hoard a bunch of bullshit. Like my memories and me treasuring him, you know, aren't invested in a pair of shoes, but my brain doesn't let shit go sometimes. So, but it was interesting because that all tied back in my head. And grief is a strange thing, but art can heal. So that's what we're doing here today. So, you know, a lot of times I'll start a piece, you know, digitally or you know, physically. It just depends on what I'm feeling. Lately, it's been more and more physical, because there's something nice about the feeling of not being on a screen. Like this feeling right here, even, you know, like with this brush and just feeling the texture of the paper, like, you know, I love that, right? And it's, you know, a different time and a different place and a different value too, right? Like if I was to sell one of these versus like a version of one of my digital art pieces, like I would want way more money for this, right? And it should be, right? This is a tactile thing. Like, and I think that's the big shift, and you see a lot of people talking about it right now, but, you know, it's getting easier and easier to make really beautiful crap. Like, so, you know, having real story and real human meaning behind all the things is really what brings art alive and makes people resonate with it. So if you aren't, you know, if you're just making something and the machine's making all the decisions, like it's not really making impactful art. And you'll see that, like it's very easy to tell. Like, yeah, maybe if you're making like a bunch of Gokus and Darth Vaders, like you might be able to sell a bunch of prints before you get shut down for copyright infringement. But like, if you're not making something really unique for yourself and have a real story behind it, like it's gonna be, people aren't gonna get excited about it. Like that's just how that works. So yeah, people will see. But in this era of it's easy to make things, it's really important now, especially in the business side of things, to understand why you're making things and for who, and really have the right eye behind that. Because if you're not doing it that way, you're creating a potential for just wasted time and revenue and energy. Like, oh, this looks pretty, but it doesn't connect. Well, that's because there's no real human intention behind it. Something else was making the decisions, something trying to pretend to be human. It's like when you watch anything that's fully AI rendered and you watch a human being walking, like it doesn't get it yet. Like it thinks it gets it, but like there's no weight to the physics are always off. Like it's just weird, and maybe it'll get it eventually, but for now it's pretty weird looking. But it looks great visually, like the still frames, but the movement is not there yet. And you know, at the end of the day, it might get there, and we'll see. We don't know where this is going. And I don't pretend to be a soothsayer of sorts, but I do know that people still appreciate the handmade things, right? Like the wabi-sabi, right? Like that's a Japanese term, and it's really about the beauty of the imperfection in human beings having a hand in making things. It's the tool marks, it's the brush strokes, right? It's really hard to simulate that. And you see it in writing now a lot, right? Like I actually intentionally leave lots of just like little typos and errors in like most of the messages I write, just because like it's there's a realness to it now that like I think weirdly provides value. Like they always told me growing up that like I got the worst grades in grammar and English, right? Like honor student, almost straight A's, like never really tried that hard even, and yeah, I could never spell. And look, you know, here we are, come full circle. I think that actually adds value to my communications when my spelling's a little off. Like it can't be egregious, right? Like, but like a little typo here and there. It's like, you know, I'm busy. I got shit to do. Like this message is understandable. Like I don't need to get in here and fix every little word. Like you get it. Like I'm gonna go spend my time doing things that make more sense. And, you know, it's never cost me any business, I don't think so. But who knows? Sometimes you don't know. But it's just something to consider. And that said, like, what's the flip side of this stuff, right? Like, wow, I've seen, you know, I had a call yesterday with somebody I met through Bordy, which Bordy in itself is a really cool AI tool that helps people network, right? Like, there's so many ways that these AI tools really help facilitate business and do cool things, right? This is all innovation, right? It's you know, it was built on a lot of sketchy, unethical copyright infringement. Like let's not ever gloss over that. And I'm happy to see those court cases evolve. And I'm happy to see companies coming up making ethical AI data sets, and that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, anyways, so as this stuff evolves, like I'm seeing really powerful creative things come out, like people being able to tell stories that are in their head that we're never going to get out. They were never going to be able to communicate this level of creative output that they've always wanted to, because you need an investor and you need 40 friends and you need actors or lots of animators or lots of this and lots of that. And it's like, it's really cool to see some of this stuff come alive. And even if it's just an MVP, right? Like it's not like the finished product, but it's just like, this is the idea. Like the ability to pitch things now and to get that support is on a whole nother level. There's just some magic out there, man. I feel like people get really upset and they're like, fuck AI or fuck Web3 and this sucks and that sucks. And it's like, they want to get stuck in like what they know and what's comfortable. And look, I get that change is difficult for everybody, but you have to be adaptable in the business world, especially. Like if you want to be, you know, an artist and you want to be a creator and you want to do it your way, just know that, like, you know, you're competing with a lot of people that are using all the shortcuts. And if you're already super talented at doing the thing and you know your creativity and your ideas are already very valuable, like you can succeed wherever, right? Like using these tools makes you go faster and potentially better, but that doesn't mean you need to compromise your artistic integrity, right? Like you can decide when and where to use these things and how. You know, like there's a difference between I had an AI write a whole story, and then I had an AI storyboard it, then I had an AI, you know, make all the creative decisions. I had AI tell me, oh, well, this will be the most productive thing to sell on the internet, and you know, did all my research. Like that's not human creativity. Like, you know, hey, I have this idea and I came up with these sketches, but like I'd love for them to sing a song here, but I don't know anybody and I can't afford a song, but I wrote the song, and then like let's see where that goes. And like it's the bigger thing. You're scaling out more, like where it's like you're in control of the whole world. What does that mean? You know, and at what point are you the artist and not? Like there's such a dialogue in here, and I'd love to just have this dialogue with people. So maybe that can be part of this stream too. Like now that we're doing this daytime vibe, I'd love for people to jump in and give their thoughts. And I will here in the next couple times I do this, I'm definitely going to promote it a lot so that we'll get some people on here for the dialogues. I got a lot of friends out here that certainly have opinions in both directions. And what way to talk about art and creativity than to do it on a business social media platform while doing art and being creative. And like at this phase in the game, like my brain is like two things. Like I can talk and work on this stuff because it's like I don't know. It's just like it's almost like just nice coloring book at this time that I drew, right? Once you get to this phase. And you know, I'm not pretending I'm the best artist in the world or that anyone even likes my shit other than me. But I'm having fun with it. And you know, I think I got a little sidetracked because I'm woefully ADD. But like the idea that like you can't make art how you want to make art however the hell you want. Like if you want to use AI, use AI. If you don't want to use AI, don't use AI. Like whatever part is your thing, right? Like you don't need to dictate how someone else does a thing. And there's unequivocally, I see people talk about this all the time, like if you use AI, it's not art. Like there's a difference between AI assistance and AI doing everything. So, you know, that's up to people to decide. And I just think we're in a weird space now. And people are rightfully upset because lots of copyrighted material was stolen to train and create these AIs. And there was no consent and no compensation and no credit given to these people who made these AIs capable of doing what they're doing, right? So you'll hear me start to promote like what I think are more ethical AI platforms as I, you know, get in better relationships with some of these people, and they're out there, and we're looking for people that are, you know, and me particularly looking for people that are, you know, doing collective licensing and creating data sets where people opted in, they got paid, they're getting compensated, you know, those sort of things. The basics of like what I think creates ethical standards there are being upheld. You know, and there's some out there. I have a conversation with one in the next couple weeks, so we'll see. The problem is the ones that I've seen, for the most part, they're just not as good yet, right? Like, you know, even like Adobe's Firefly, which, you know, promoted itself for a while before they got a bunch of backlash about, you know, being an ethical AI data set. And what that means, what they were trying to say is they actually had permission, which is huge for every piece of art, legal, you know, permission. Now, how did they get it, you know, the best way possible and all this, you know, I don't know all the nuances, but they basically used the stuff they already had license rights contractually to that was inside of Adobe Firefly. Now, was everything in there made by hand and not from other AIs? Looks like not, based on some of the things I've seen, right? So like there was other non-ethical AI data sets used to create things that were put into that. And look, you know, this is also part of why there's reprographic rights organizations across the world, because people steal people's shit and it's really hard to track. And the United States doesn't actually participate in those things in the way that I think we should. So that's something else worth considering. But there is some organizations here, like Astral, that help artists get reprographic royalty rights. So if you're not familiar with that, you should definitely check that out. And if you're ever impassioned about any of these conversations and any of the things I talk about creativity and AI and artist rights, like you should absolutely look up the Graphic Artists Guild, which is where I'm a board member at. And we do lots of things around artist rights and creativity. We help protect copyright, you know, we advocate for artist rights in DC. You know, we advocate for copyright protection. We've had a lot of wins over the years doing really impressive stuff. And you know, it's an amazing organization, and we make this book. I don't know if you all are familiar with it, but it's the Pricing and Ethical Guidelines Handbook. So if you ever want to know anything about the kind of business and professional legalese almost side of business, being a creative for small businesses, freelancers, small studios, this book is a ridiculously powerful resource. So I highly recommend that you check it out. I'll probably shout them out every episode. It's where I put a lot of my free time. So yeah. yeah, sample pricing in there, sample contracts, just like all the kind of stuff you should be thinking about as you are going into the business world as a creative. So circling back again before I lose my train of thought again, what I was trying to say earlier is that like it's totally fine for you to be an artist and create just for the sake of creativity, right? This stream for me is for the love of creativity. That's what I named it years ago, and I'm really doing this to just express my creativity, and I named it that so that I don't get lost, because it's easy to, you know, especially as an entrepreneur and someone that's deeply steeped in business all the time, it's easy for me to like keep focusing back, like how do I monetize this, how do I make it more of this, more of that, and it's like, yes, that'd be nice, and yes, it's cool, and you know, definitely if you want to sponsor my show, let me know, but like the first and foremost thing for this is it needs to be creative. It needs to be me expressing myself and coming up and holding myself accountable to doing this stuff because it makes me happy, right? Like artists have to create things to be happy. It's just a fact. Like if you are creative and you have this creative itch, and I'd argue that all people are creative and there's some form of creative outlet in your life that you need to have in order to be happy. But that aside, like if you already know, like you got to do it, right? Like it's so easy to just slip into like a dark place if you're not like just taking the time to nurture your creativity and spontaneity and doing things like this, right? Like I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen with this thing. I'm just having fun with it though. So, you know, it's just fun. This is probably way too dark, but I felt like this piece here, I felt like it was getting too flat and I needed to take a little gamble. So we'll see. I might have ruined it. I always just trust the process, right? You know? So I didn't ruin it though. We just smudge it in. I'm gonna add a little more detail back in later. I can always wash it out a little too, which works pretty good. I'll probably need to add like almost some black in there. That'll help punch it back out. Yeah, and I really haven't, this is the first painting I've done start to finish in a long time, like purely analog media was sort of the goal right out, it was the goal right out the gate. I'll probably still take this at some point, take one of my progress shots and take it digital and make it into another piece of art. So this is actually, it's the second one I've done, but I think it's going to be the first one I finish. I started another one. If you guys have been following my content at all, it's a natural surrender, and it's this tree face dissolving. Let me see if I can find it real fast. It is somewhere in this creative madness I call an office. Yeah, maybe. I would literally cry if I lost it. It's somewhere. Let's see. It's not in there. Find it eventually. Cool. Yeah. So we're just out here drawing, painting on a little tree face. Wonder how this comes up on LinkedIn. I'm just trying to get some detail in here. Doing some dark brown, yeah. It's interesting too, because like when it goes on wet, it looks so much darker and it always lightens up a bit. So I try to keep that perspective. Sometimes I just start to panic. Like, oh no, I fucked it up. Should I cuss less on LinkedIn? Or is that, or Gary V made that okay for everybody, I think we're all just allowed to talk however the fuck we talk, you know? Thank you, Gary V. Yeah, it's coming together a little bit in there. This is why I like to do trees and stuff too. I love this just organic flow that kind of almost anything goes. Like, it's a tree, right? There's not, like, it doesn't need to be perfectly symmetrical. It can have weird little chunks in it and textures, and, you know, it just needs to be, like, human adjacent for you to get that emotional tie-in to the face and the feeling of whatever's going on here. I got my little woodpecker, hollowed out his brain. The Wise Old Tree. I think I like the name of this one. Got like a bunch of tree art. I love drawing trees. Tree face people. Treebeard's one of my favorite characters. Surprisingly, I don't like Groot very much. He's just like, I don't know. It's like they made him dumb. Like, it just, like, it's just dumb. I don't know. Like, I guess he's not dumb. Like, there's some, like, depth to the character, but, like, I don't know. I feel like I really love the idea of Treebeard more than I like the idea of Groot. Even, like, Swamp Thing, you know? Like, it's just, like, I don't know. I love this idea of, like, forest protector, nature shepherd type of creature, regardless. You know, like, you know, elves and fairies and all that sort of stuff, too. Just love creative fantasy storytelling, and it's always wild to me like how many of these things have shown up in like different cultures across the world when they were all seemingly so separated, like having no real ways of connecting with each other. Like they all have some sort of dragons and some sort of giant creatures and lizards, and it's like, are they relics of stories time past when like we lived alongside of terror birds and, you know, whatever, pterodons and, you know, woolly saber-toothed tigers, and I don't know, you know, like, I don't know, but it's all fascinating to think about. I hope my mic's working. Sometimes I'll be like way into one of these streams, mic's not really working great. Bro, wow, is the mic, oh wow, wow, totally had the mic off the whole time. Oh great. Well, there's that, I guess. I think, maybe, no, was my, no, okay, now it's double on. Okay, good call. Never mind, I had to scroll down. I like a bunch of different things in there. That was gonna be hilarious though. Sorry for the double voice there for a second. I'm pretty sure that was annoying. Gonna get a little more dialed in on this. Again, I just wanted to go for it today because I was gonna try to like do my perfectionist OCD ADD madness on like, oh, I gotta do it this way, and I just like, I've been meaning to do a LinkedIn live for weeks, months, maybe all year. So I'm finally here and I'm doing it. So go team. Looking pretty alright, if I do say so myself. So I've been like dabbing in a little brown, and I've got a little drop of black over here, and I just sort of mix it up just so I get a little darker. I don't ever like to put pure black on my art. It's just so strong. It literally, and it like takes away from something. It's very rarely pure black in anything. So it like just, I don't know. Almost dipped my brush in my drink. Can't say that's never happened before. All right, so hopefully next time I'll actually get some people here. It's been fun so far. Let me make a little post on LinkedIn real fast. Let's see if that does anything for me. I don't know what this music is, but it's working out, I guess. Okay, cool. Oh, we got 3 people in here, yeah? Oh, good. Badass. Cool. So, doing a little Ask Me Anything and making some live art. I've been doing these live streams for a long time on Twitch and YouTube, but I decided to throw LinkedIn into the mix and really start to focus over here, especially since Meta banned all my accounts. Hey, whatever. So if you guys don't know me very well and you just randomly saw this, love to talk about anything art, creativity related, advertising, business, small business, marketing, like that sort of stuff. Love to talk about, AI and Web3 and artist rights and, art therapy, creativity, gardening. I grow so much food. It's a crazy amount of food in my backyard. And just, nature in general. Love nature. I like to just talk, actually. I really don't really care what we talk about. I know things and I talk a lot, so here we are. If you haven't checked out my podcast, definitely do that. Pixel Retentive Podcast. It's on the intersection of creativity and business. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. It's pixelretentive.com. Has links to all the things. And if you think you would be a good guest for the show, please feel free to reach out on there and let me know who you are and what you're about. And we can chat. But got like 150 episodes, had some great guests on. Can release some really great episodes. Got Stefan Sagmeister was on the show. Episode's dropping soon. Really famous designer. Debbie Millman was on the show. You can already check that out. She's a really famous designer and podcaster herself. Let's see, I've had Chris Doe came on recently. A ton of amazing people in the video game space. Not as big a huge name recognition as some of the other ones, but the games and things they've worked on, like everybody knows. Like we had the creative director from Borderlands on, who came up with like the actual style of Borderlands, and a lot of people doing really cool projects. I mean, everything you can think of, like from all the major publishers and even lots of cool indies. So Borderlands just jumped off and makes it one of my favorite games, so I always remember that at the top of my head. Yeah. So anyways, I've been working on this guy for a couple weeks. This is the wise old tree. But I've done a lot of these type of portraits. Man, I really wish I could find the other one I was talking to you guys about. So a lot of times on my live stream, I'll do like digital collaborations with my dad. So here's one I did where I took an old drawing of his, and then I took it in Photoshop and layered in like some of his abstract paintings and then drew on top of it. And then I did a print, and the print settings were like, I actually put in like the piece of paper wasn't that great. So then I just drew on top of this and made this like really dope piece of art, which is super cool. So this is like it's a really cool multimedia piece, right? So it's lots of photographs of my dad's art, and then there's a line art sketch that I dropped in there from my dad, and I drew on top of it and photo bashed it all together in Photoshop for at least 3 hours. I printed it out and then drew on top of it again for another couple hours and added in more details and lines and colors. So this is like a unique print piece of art, if that makes sense. So I don't know, it's fun. I have so much fun doing this stuff. I just want to be creative all the time, that's my goal in life. Like, how do I continue just to put myself in positions to just make more art and help more people, and just feel like a good person that is leaving the world a little more colorful than where I found it. So, anyways, don't mind me. Sorry, this is like some adhesive goopy shit I put on the back. Oh, it's a technical term. I think 3M probably calls it something else. But it's like a low tack, sticky, whatever. But it's really nice to put on art because it'll all like peel back up really good. It's just been on here for like a couple months, so I gotta refresh it sometimes because my piece wasn't sticking down. And I pulled it off a couple times. Like if you don't pull it off, it's fine. But I was doing a different piece of art for a bit, so yeah. So you get that like nice white, goopy texture. I really hope this LinkedIn thing works out. I think this will be fun. I have a lot of connections on here, a lot of cool people, and I know there's so many great conversations happening on LinkedIn. I thought, what a fun way to do, like have conversations about art and creativity and AI and Web3 and just life and like all the things. Let's do it on LinkedIn. Let's do it live, and like I'll make some art. So if people, if you're watching this after, I don't know how the recordings work, but I'd love to have guests on and just shoot the shit with me. I think this might also sort of like cross over into my podcast soon, because the podcast is getting so busy that it's really hard for me to like just keep up. Like there's just so many like episodes. I was shooting like 6 a week for a while, and it just becomes like daunting. And I hate telling people like, oh, your episode will be out in 3 months, 4 months. So, but it might be fun just to do LinkedIn lives with everybody, is my thought process. So, if you guys want to ever come on here and you have something to say about art and creativity and all the things, like I'd love to have more people in the conversation. So, yeah. And now I think about, like, I think I am gonna merge them. Like, I think I'm gonna do live art and talk to people, and it's gonna be fun. Well, I bet you that would look cool. Just like almost like a ridge right here. You see how I kind of have the lines already doing that? You could bends that way. That'd be kind of neat. Punch that in. I love that about like doing nature-based stuff too, because it's like you can sort of just let it. It's like Bob Ross. You ever watch Bob Ross? Like the shit just sort of unfolds, right? Like it's not super planned, and like you make happy little accidents, and but that's such a lovely, light, freeing way to do art, because it's so easy, at least for me, and I don't know if any of you all have had this experience, but I can get stuck sometimes where it's like I feel like I don't want to mess it up, so then I just like freeze, and I just and then the art never gets done, or it starts to not be what it could have been, and it sucks. So I'm trying to overcome that individually with this process. So, all right, face is looking kind of cool. Let's see. I think I'm gonna paint some shoes one of these times too. I painted the Green Man on some Vibrams. Vibram 5 Fingers sent me some shoes. I only wear Vibram 5 Fingers, so they sent me some shoes and I painted on them, but I never did the second shoe, and I was like, ooh, that might be a cool thing to do on the live stream. So y'all might see me up here painting some toe shoes, which will like totally weird some people out. It's funny, like some people there's like a foot phobia out there, and some of you weirdos with foot fetishes, but no judgment, even though I said weirdo. But like, dude, some people can't even like look at these shoes, or like the idea of me holding a toe shoe would like totally freak them out, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know. It's so funny. We're all so different human beings. It's all good though. Like whopping my microphone with the back of this pen. I got a frame that actually is pretty decently framed, yeah. Look at me. It's like I've done this before. I always surprise myself with how well things work sometimes. Usually with my art, like I still have like massive imposter syndrome, like, which is wild. You know, fucking 40-year-old man, 41 actually, getting old. Just thankful I had a dad that like made it okay for me to never grow up and just keep being wild and free and creative. You know, I got all my responsibilities and shit, like don't get me wrong, but like I don't feel like I need to ascribe to some idea of what an adult is supposed to be. It seems like the last generation had that real heavy. Maybe not Gen X. Gen X kind of just never conformed to anything, and good for them. But like, you know, boomers, God, like, oh, you gotta like do this and do that, and this is the proper whatever. Like I never, you know, not everyone subscribes to that either, but like it's definitely deep in the culture, which is just weird. All conformity and control. The hippies weren't about it though. They said, nah, we're gonna do what we want. Done a lot of rambling on this episode. Man, I'm not used to having no one to talk to. Somebody like just say hi. Like there's a couple of you guys on the different streams here. That was like the hardest thing to develop a skill of, like talking for an hour to no one. I have to do it again. The stream got crazy good. We were doing over 150 people on a show, like lots of fun, lots of interaction. And then like, you know, Meta banned me. Like I stopped, like I just didn't want to really deal with all the Twitter bullshit anymore. So, and then, yeah. And then I stopped streaming for like 3 months. I had to recalibrate my life, which, you know, happens to the best of us every once in a while, right? And coming off of that now, got to rebuild. But it was necessary. I needed to. I needed to reshift my focus on things. I needed to evaluate who I was and what I wanted. It was proper midlife crisis shit, you know, turning 40 and just like trying to unpack the meaning of life, I guess, a little bit, right? Anyways, still out here having fun, making art. I'm trying to like dilute this out a little. I think I'm just ruining it, but we'll see how it happens when it like actually dries. Yeah, it kind of looks alright. I gotta use a more robust, thicker watercolor paper. Again, I just like doing an MVP here, right? So it's like I just bought some watercolor paper at Five Below, a lot of different bullshit at Five Below. Like I still have my like thousands of dollars of art supplies behind me from art school, but the fact that I still have art supplies from art school that are consumable, you know, I graduated almost 20 years ago, tells you that I'm not doing enough art. So I'm trying to fix that. All right, I think I'm over this. I really want to find my other painting. Here it is. Nailed it. So this is the other one I've been working on, which is really cool. A lot more like little details, but I did a lot of watercolor metallics on top of it, so it gets a little crazy looking. But I also finished this one digitally, which is interesting. So I started this one with pencil sketch, right? And I got it to a certain point, and then I finished it digitally last year, and now I'm pushing myself to actually finish it, and it's getting close. Like I don't quite feel like it's finished, but I want them to kind of work next to each other as like a, you know, sort of. I guess it's not gonna work already. I can tell just the way, you know, it's just. I mean, I can work the colors out, but they're a little different styles. But yeah, they could work. Who knows? Who knows? But Anyways, just want to take a look at that a bit and see what ways I could play with this background here. 'Cause I liked what I was doing over there. So I could almost like just like kind of add some visual interest in white, blur it out. Seems a little reckless. It's alright though, my life's a little reckless sometimes. Need a little chaos for some great art. At least in my world. Back's killing me. Yeah, it's not really working. But it's adding something in there. We'll see where it goes. Let me see what other... I got some other tools. I love watercolor markers. Like that's... I got like a nice spread of these. Some artist love. Growing up, like everything had to be Prismacolor when I was in art school. Like that was the best. Or Rembrandt pastels. But now it's just like I don't even care. Like, does it make a mark on the page in the color I want? And does it blend good? Alright, I'm here for it. Like, that's sort of my litmus test at the baseline. You know, obviously, like, I want stuff that lasts and, like, you know, that doesn't degrade and the pigments stay. And, you know, you can get into the weeds of it. But, again, I'm just trying to create an avenue for myself to just be creative as often as possible and not be worried about all the details. Like, I can evolve all that. You know, if I get great sponsors, like I just use sponsor pins and stuff. Like I don't care. But I don't know. It's so easy to just like, oh, but it's got to be this and it's got to be that, and get lost in all the details. I would not be here streaming if I kept doing that, because my mind always wants everything to be perfect before I do it. Like, it's a weird thing. It's difficult to navigate in the business world that way too, because sometimes you end up over delivering because you have so much pride in the work and so much passion, and like all of a sudden, you know, it's not even worth your time anymore because you spent too much fucking time on it. So always navigating those things. I think I need a little purple in this background. Let's turn it this way and then like naturally drip, you know? Put a little gravity work. Is it my art if gravity did it? I don't know. I didn't control the way this went. A lot of existential questions in here, you know? There's a random splatter that I have a loose idea of how it's going to operate. Does that count? You know? But other than like the ethical parts of like these stolen data sets and like all this idea behind copyright infringement, like I think if you're using AI tools and you're trying to, you know, and you're really trying to bring out your creativity, like I really don't care how you make a thing. I care, does it like speak to me? Did you make a thing that wasn't there before with whatever you could make without taking advantage of any other human beings, or, you know, negatively as, you know, as minimal impact? I don't know how you would measure whatever, but like, you know, are you doing things that are your creative ideas? Like, are you exporting garbage out into the world with tools really fast for the sake of trying to make a buck and competing with real people and real creativity, or you having things and you are trying to uniquely put things out there, and like maybe you can't illustrate but maybe you can write, maybe you can write and you can't illustrate, maybe you can, and maybe you just have this idea and you're not really great at all the other things. Like there's a world where you can still make cool shit and I can have respect for it. Like, does it resonate? Is it a unique human-centered take on something? Like, I don't care. Like, then it can speak to people. Then I'm for it, right? Like, I think we're gonna get quickly past this phase where we're trying to judge people. Like, there was a phase where, like, if you used Photoshop, you weren't an artist. Like, people just like, oh, that's cheating and blah blah blah, and it's like, but why? Like, you do different things. It's a different medium. Using AI art is different, right? Using AI tools is a different medium than me doing this, right? And there's a world where, like, I did a piece earlier this year, if you check my live stream, where it's like I took a photograph and I did a bunch of AI edits inside of Photoshop using reference images that I uploaded or that I took or that were from my picture, and then just kept like blurring this thing out and turning it into something new. And then I took this drawing and imported it and then ran an AI on it to help it like quickly filter into the tree in the background, and I made a really cool piece of art in like 6 hours using lots of AI assistance. But it was all my idea. It was even had my hand-drawn art in it, my photography in it. Lots of AI though. Like, was not a thing that I would have done without AI. It was going to be way too much work. Could I have done it without AI? Yeah, I've done a lot of them. Like, you can see a lot of my work, but it's like I wouldn't have, because I have too much other shit to do. Like, so there's this factor of like, you can do more quickly, you know, and if you can find a way to do that and you still feel like it respects your creativity, then good for you. And again, as soon as I can really, I'll be able to really 100% get behind that message when I have some like powerful AI tools that were definitely not built, at least, you know, as much as can be humanly possibly, you know, done, and not on stolen copyrighted material. Like, that's the thing, right? That's the high level. Like, we really gotta do better there, and demand better from some of these companies. So that's my 2 cents, people. My soapbox. Thanks for listening. Anyways, this was it. Did the stream. I first LinkedIn live. Appreciate y'all checking it out. I don't know if this like persists or whatever, but it will definitely be on my YouTube page. Probably on Twitch for a little while. I think it stays up there for like a month. But there's a full archive of all my shit I've done over the past, I think it's 3-4 years. I don't know. I just don't even keep up anymore. I just keep rolling on YouTube. And, you know, obviously like and subscribe and all that shit. Go to my website and get on my newsletter. And how about that? Then I'm in control, and you can get cool messages and updates from me in the near future. So anyways, thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate you watching this, whether you watch it live or you're watching a recording. And I'll be back next week, I think. I'll double check. I think next week's I'm going to try like 2 p.m., see if that works a little better. But I'm going to be experimenting, and if you see this and you got any feedback about times or anything I'm doing, or if anything I said sparks a conversation you want to have, hit me up. Always looking for more people on my podcast, and appreciate you guys checking me out. Take it easy.